And it could damage the in perpetuity thing if they think that you've gone for one brand when in actual fact you may not have. So then, the whole thing with Pepsi and Coke.
Yeah.
Once you sit, tweaking every now and then. I think also, yes, the EQing might actually help with that. But I've said my piece. I'm really trying not to ramble this season.
Too late.
It's just very difficult. No, I will. Ah!
We even talked about it in chat.
We had a formal agreement.
Yeah.
To push the button.
On tonight's show, Hawke sets fire to a forest.
I am the god of hellfire.
Grim accidentally kills someone.
Oh, shit. Not again.
And I do a thing. I've done a thing! Now, tonight, we start with the news.
Right. Well, I have some interesting news. Dotify is now doing audiobooks, and they have quite a wide selection. However, there is one small problem.
Yes?
You have to pay for them, like £15 each.
That's utter rubbish.
Even if you have premium.
Yes.
Millions of songs and podcasts. But you have to pay for a book.
Yes.
Have you done any of these books?
No.
Well, there we are. Shan't bother.
Bad news.
What?
The new Call of Battlefield 2077 NFTs. They've been delayed.
Oh no! Anyway, last week I was on the internet and I found this.
Oh, God, make his breath. You can't show that.
You're going to get us banned from social media. Again.
I also found this. Now, it's called Cold Read, a podcast for voice actors by voice actors. Now, why is this important? Well, as you can see here on this graph, that, well, you can't see, there has been a rapid increase in things to do with people's voices, be it professional or just larking about.
Yes, and now this is really weird. Some of us actually sound like some of the people in this podcast. It's fascinating.
And for some reason, their presenters asked us to do an intro. So, some say that when he has a magical mishap, his face balloons like a pufferfish, and that the professors at the College of Magi were so jealous of his beard that they had it surgically removed. All we know is he's called Zamoody. Some say that his body literally runs on screams and caffeine, and that he's not the water messiah, but in fact a very naughty boy. All we know is he's called Eldurrino. Some say she has no concept of rest, and that her favourite type of damage to deal in Dungeons & Dragons is emotional. All we know is she's called Renara Hawke. And together, some say they're able to form one single brain cell large enough to run this podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. Thank you for the wonderful intro, Renara.
That was great.
That's great.
Yay!
That's great. So welcome to Cold Read. This podcast is by voice actors for voice actors, as mentioned before. If you have any questions for us, anything you want us to talk about, you can email us, coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com, coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. We also have a Discord. Thank you for everybody who's joined recently. Appreciate you. The link is going to be in the description. If you have an opportunity to come on by, we do this recording live Sundays at noon Pacific, or what time is it over there in the Teen Crumpets land?
8 p.m. 20,000 hours.
There we go.
Yes, quite.
Princess Ashley coming in. Thank you so much for the sub, saying congratulations to Eldurrino. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in just a second.
Talk about what?
But again, thank you so much. We'd love to hear your audio today. Actually, for one of the few opportunities, we're actually going to be looking at audio. So this is a great time for you all to listen in to kind of what we can do for you, what we will do for you. So thanks to those that are here right now, and let us go ahead and get started. So before we talk about the changes that have occurred here in the show, I just want to go real quick, or a quick little roundtable to see how everybody's doing. How was your holiday vacation, Renara?
I was sick twice, but we won't go on to that. It was fine. It was actually it was a really nice break. I got to go to London to see my family. It was all wonderful. Just getting back into the swing of it really is the one where you trip over your feet and you go boom, 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 boom. But no, it's been all right. Voice acting wise, I am on the cusp of finishing Dunmer for Skywind. That is handing in today, so I'm getting that finished and out of the way today. And yeah, the intro, I just thought I might give us a quick little nod, was Fire Brimstone's first proper voice acting thing.
Yeah.
Because he's decided to sort of give this shit a go. And I'm so proud of him. This was such a fun project, and it was the most fun we've had in a while. And it's made me laugh, and I'm so happy that he came up with this idea.
Nice.
I loved it. Thank you so much, Fire and Brimstone. I think you're in chat, so welcome, and it sounded absolutely great. Well, thank you, Renara. Appreciate you being here. Eldurrino, how you doing?
Good, and my vacation was incredibly all over the place, but I'm gonna try and ramble off as much as I possibly can. That happened. So first off, Christmas Day came around. I got engaged to my wonderful girlfriend. So yay! Hooray! Happy claps. That was yes, it was very very nerve-wracking a little bit, but as it is. So then to celebrate, we then took a quick 3-day vacation to Boston, in which I got to see the Boston Tea Party Museum, which was fantastic. They have live actors that guide you through the tour. It was great. I got to throw tea off of a ship, which then has convinced me to stop drinking coffee, and I'm now switching over to tea. So I am really upping my water game. Also saw the New England Aquarium for the second time. Got to see a bunch of penguins and seals and fish, and it was fantastic. I started a diet, which is interesting. I'm now going back to the gym. I also have a massive gallon water jug that you're going to have to go to our YouTube channel /ColdReadthePodcast in order to see. But it makes me look like a massive tool whenever I drink out of it. So get ready for that. I think that's about it, actually. I have really just been trying to focus on getting back into the swing of things with the new year. I am really hoping that I can get back more into voice acting because I miss it. I really do. But on top of that, still working on audio production, still working on mixing, really just trying to learn everywhere that I can. I think that's it.
Cool. Well, to you too, and welcome to the show. Much appreciated.
Thanks.
Yeah. So
Zamoody, how are you doing?
Thank you, Eldurrino. Yay! Thank you. Unfortunately, I was under the weather for most of it. I'm finally on the mend. You may hear a bit of a runny nose. I apologize if that's an issue. I did hear that 2 of my projects are coming back, so I'll start working on Tetris again, which was the college individual that got the grant thanks to his script and the voice acting. And then apparently I will be back as Luke Skywalker for a couple more issues for that particular group.
All right.
Yeah, so I got a couple things to look forward to. I actually have a deadline coming up on one of them, so I'm gonna have to get moving. I'm also working on a commercial demo with one of my co-hosts, and I appreciate that. Hopefully now that I'm better, we'll get back in, and y'all get to hear it here soon. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's move on. So season 5. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are here, for those of you that are listening, we went through a little bit of a restructuring. We looked at things and we decided to streamline some stuff. If you come online and you jump on to either on YouTube or if you see us live, our new backgrounds, thank you to Eldurrino for working on that. I will also note that our intros are going to be much more condensed. The long storylines and everything else, while awesome, did detract from, I think, our goal. And I'm not saying that they're not going to happen, but it'll be more of a treat than it is an expectation. So With all that said, if anybody has any questions, you guys know how to get a hold of me or any of us. So thank you for sticking with us, and cheers to a brand new year and a brand new season, and hopefully everything will go and work out. So
Yeah.
we've been sitting on some audio. Yeah, we've been sitting on some audio, and we're actually going to have an opportunity to finally listen to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. It's been like
It has.
2 months.
like a month or
Yeah,
so.
I think it's
Something like
November.
It's been a month. I mean a minute. I mean a month. I mean a...
Yeah.
So and as we've noted, just very important is don't be afraid to submit audio to us. We love to hear it. We love to listen to it. We give constructive feedback, and we've done it to each other. So this isn't saying that we'll do it, and then we'll be mean about it. Just so without further ado, Mitch, how do you say the last name? K?
K, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll go with K. Here is one of his audio. So here we go.
Let's have a listen.
Which is now not playing. So that was great.
It was working.
It was not working
heard
for
it.
the stream.
Ah,
Awesome.
So we'll try that again.
technical
That's what you think,
difficulty.
sweetheart.
Okay,
Skip.
there we go. So we'll do one more time.
That's what you think, sweetheart. Get out your cauldron, your poison pen, and your book of malfestations. I'll be right down to dictate my report on the Folly Bright caper, or I should have stood in bed and ducked for apples.
So that is Mitch's interpretation of Sam Spade. My understanding, Sam Spade is a noir type detective series. So you can totally hear that. I don't know how to put it, like old timey.
It's almost like a transatlantic accent, I think.
100%.
Right, because it's like 1930s era, I want to say.
I will have to look
So-
that up, but yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you can certainly tell it's kind of got that, kind of like that more New York developed accent, I guess you would call it.
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked it. I think it came out a little lower than I would have liked on our side. I'm not sure if that was something I could have controlled. Audio wise, I didn't hear any clicks, I didn't hear any pops, so that's good.
I have two
Right,
things.
I didn't. Okay, go ahead.
One, I can hear that his room isn't treated because at one point, especially at the end, he moves his he moves his face away from the microphone. I can hear that
Ooh.
happen
Okay.
right at the end of it. I'm guilty of doing that also. I have done that before, and it is very, when you're trying to avoid plosives and breathy noises, it can be a tick to move your face out of the way. But however, if you listen to it again, you can hear he does that. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, let's find mic positioning might be a good thing to experiment with
Right.
on that front. Two, it feels like he's stumbling over the words a bit too much, in the sense of, I don't know whether this was a first read or first just a go at it, but it does feel like he's rushing himself, and I think he could have slowed that a little bit more. If we're going the film noir sort of route, because I don't know this character, so I'm basing it off of what the information you just said.
Mhm.
I would personally think he should slow it down a little bit just to relax into that character a bit more, because it feels like he's pushing it too far forward in his mouth. If it's film noir, you want sort of that jazzy, relaxed feeling, and I got a rushed feeling from just that one. That's just me.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
mean, I could argue that point just because in a lot of like 1950s era films, it was very common to
Mhm.
speak that quickly, just
Really?
because
Okay.
of whatever reason. Yeah, it's just da 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 da. You know,
Huh.
I
Fair
I
enough.
agree that the pacing could have been a little bit different. He was taking, I believe, breaths in between words where it didn't really make sense to take a breath. But that just comes down to practice. And I will mention as well, this is marked as untreated, so it is to be
yeah.
assumed that he is in an untreated room. Which,
That's
yes, you can definitely hear because there's a little bit of reverb in there. I will also say, I mean, as far as the accent goes, and I guess pitch, if that's your normal tone of voice, I thought that was very good. However, I could tell your mouth was really dry. Just drink water. That's all I gotta say. You know,
The first one of the series.
Yeah,
and-
just
Okay, so that's really a good point to go into. So stuff that likes to suck the saliva right out of your mouth just tend to be sugary drinks, caffeinated drinks. You really don't want to do that right before you go into a booth.
oh, absolutely.
Water, 100%. If anybody offers you, well, I think the rule of thumb is if anybody offers you water, drink it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, or if somebody mentions it at this point, take a sip because here we go.
Oh no, no, I don't have.
Oh,
I don't
how dare
have
you.
any water.
How dare you?
Hey,
Shameful.
But yeah, keep
I
yourself.
had an apple earlier. All right, I had an apple. All right.
So there
and
are-
apparently apples are good. so-
And I was about to say, so there are some tricks in order to be able to avoid the popping and clicking. Green apples tend to be it. I'm not saying take a bite out of it, just kind of like take a quick little, I will say sip instead of saying the other word because I don't want to say, never mind.
Yes.
But that one kind of helps you to minimize the clicks. I've also heard that green apple jelly ranchers have helped. I don't know. I'm going to have to give that one a shot. So
I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like because it is very sugary, that might not be the most ideal for like longevity goes.
experimentation is needed.
I will certainly try it by all means, but I would like to say that for myself, I use apple cider vinegar. It's certainly not something that everyone will enjoy doing because it is, pretty like tart, I guess. But, you take a shot of that, swish it around in your mouth for 5 to 10 seconds, spit it into a cup or swallow it because it is very good for your gut health. And yeah, it activates whatever in your mouth. I don't know biology, but yeah, whatever produces saliva in your mouth, it's just going to activate that instantly.
Yeah.
And it usually lasts for
Saliva
like
glands.
a good like saliva glands. Yes, thank you. Geez, it's almost like I've never been to middle school.
I have a
uh,
I have a A level in biology. It's fine. It's fine.
you know what's really sad is I actually took human anatomy as well, so I should know this, but I don't. In any case, the overall message is keep yourself hydrated throughout the day.
Mhm.
If you need a quick fix in a pinch, by all means go ahead, but just stay hydrated.
Yeah, so I think all in all, from what we know on the character sounded great. Mitch, it did sound like the old timey noir type. If obviously if somebody doesn't know, it does come off a little bit as rambly. Breath control super important, so practice on that. And thank you for that particular audio. Now we do actually have another one. Inexplicable Short Stories, Dan Hindsight by Mitch K. All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Hey, Shrink, I wanted to thank you for. Oh, let me get those for you. Hey, go easy this time, Elena. The wife wanted to know why I had a long red welt down my back. Told her it was psoriasis. Runs in the family. You okay? Look, you look lost for a minute there. Thought it was maybe you were stroking out or something. Uh-huh. So, I'll see you tomorrow for our appointment. Hey, Eileen, see? Used your name. Heard someone snuck in and planted some drugs in your desk. Who's this? Right. Anyway, I was about to. So, no drugs? Hear that, Brian? No need to panic. New guy. They always tend to be on edge. Oh, client, huh? Hey, she's the best. It's like she knows everything about you without even having to mention a word. The best.
All right.
Right.
Okay. So obviously your niche is Eastern accent, very New Yorky. I would say work on your uhs and humps. I think adding those little reaction shots in there don't sound 100% genuine to me. I think that could definitely use a little work. Obviously, it's another untreated room. I'll leave the rest for other co-hosts.
I will agree with that in the sense of it feels like it's more he's just reading the words rather than acting the piece. It's wanting to get the words more correct, and it feels blocky, if that makes any sense to people. This again, like the ums and the ahs don't feel naturally placed. They feel like it was written, and thus he feels he has to make that sound somehow. So I think it's. I think on a directing standpoint, voice I love it. I love that. I hear the film noir type stuff through this more so than the other one, because it is just a hair slower, but that thing is, it is slower, and so I'm able to hear the slides. I'm able to hear these bits and pieces. His voice is so rich. I love it. I think I'm going to guess this was an older mic because it's a different quality to the previous one. I'm guessing. I don't know. I think if the audio quality becomes crisper and clearer, and we work on the sort of having things flow a little bit more seamlessly, I think that would be absolutely perfect.
Sure.
From a directing standpoint, what I would say is, okay, you know the words, okay, now just relax into this and just let those ums and ahs naturally occur. You know it's about to come up, so perhaps think, why is this character umming and ahhing? What are they thinking in this point? And that itself can lend to, again, making these things naturally sew together. That's my thing on my take on the thing.
So I wanted to actually throw a quick question to you two. Do you think that perhaps instead of this being on an older mic, that it was actually it was EQ'd to sound like an old noir film? Because like a lot of the audio from that has like the mid levels kind of ducked out, so you get a lot of bass and treble, and I feel like, I mean, it could easily be that it just was, an older mic or whatnot, but that's what it sounded like to me.
I'll throw out that he may have done some form of noise reduction, and sometimes that can cut things, or at the very least make things either sound tinnier, and he's tried to EQ it on top of that, perhaps. As I know I've done that as with my old mic, I've tried to save some older bits by doing that. So
Right.
again, I don't know where on his voice acting journey he is, whether this is beginning, middle, or late stage. I don't know. But I guess from my experience, I'm guessing that's what he might have done. So he might have EQ'd it, but he might have
Yeah,
also
that
done
makes
something
sense.
beforehand.
I think no, it wasn't intentional, but I think it works for the piece.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure because, I mean, if it is fantastic, that's kind of the sound you want to go for in
Right.
a noir film, I suppose, unless you're doing like some modern take on it or something. Um, I would say it was a little difficult to follow. I wasn't sure if like this is a bunch of clips that were mashed together, but I noticed that in certain spots it sounded like he just started a new sentence out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think this was a series
Yeah.
of lines. I think these are all the parts of that particular episode. This wasn't
Sure.
one
Okay.
continuous conversation.
And I think I
Gotcha.
know why it sounds so blocky. It's not cadence, it's his pitch. It's the same sort of high to low starting at each one. So it sounds like he's restarting, and again, like you said, a new line. So, and that's probably why it doesn't flow as nicely, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, speaking in this type of, I guess, dialect, for lack of a better word, cadence, I guess. It certainly has its own cadence, its own tempo, its own kind of flow to it. It still felt a bit cookie cutter as compared to, well, all the lines within this specific file, but also compared to the last one we just listened to. Pretty similar. I would say if you do redo these at any point, or if you plan on using this type of accent or cadence in the future, just try mixing it up. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be, spot on. It doesn't have to sound exactly like it. And, trying new things might even breathe some life into it. So
Yeah.
I guess don't be afraid to kind of experiment with that voice and really see what you can do with it.
Now, also the lines that interrupt don't stop right where the last letter is. Kind of trying to finish it off and then trail it off and let the editing handle that part. Only because if you all of a sudden you're supposed to get interrupted and you literally stop at that word, it doesn't sound exactly sincere because you like already knew where you were going to stop at, and your voice carries that. So don't be afraid to finish that off. And I mean, obviously talk to your director, make sure that's the way that they want to do it. But in my opinion, it always sounds better and more genuine if you kind of like trail off at the end instead of just like stopping at that letter.
Yeah. And I'll add one tiny thing of, don't be afraid to add when you record raw, Don't be afraid to make pauses longer, because if they're when you it I I know what I'm trying to say, but it's really difficult to explain it, because in some scenes where your line might be chopped up with a lot of pauses, don't be afraid to make those pauses slightly longer, to not only give yourself time to get enough breath in for the next part, but also longer pauses can be edited easier than no space to add pauses. Because if there isn't enough space and you rush it and you try to add space, then it starts to sound choppy, like this. But if you, when you're recording, give yourself time and don't feel you have to end it quickly, it's more easier to sandwich things slightly closer together if they naturally run off. I got there.
Yeah, it was
I'm
good.
improving.
Don't make me hit the button.
Oh, you can
Not
hit
yet.
the button
No,
if you
it's-
want. No,
no.
we're not there yet.
It's not there yet. One last clip from Mitch. This is Donzo episode 2. I don't know what NG stands for, but I guess we may find out as we go. 38 seconds.
Hey there, I heard there was a Uchiha attempting to scuffle with the Hokage. Ho ho, I beg to differ. You see, going against the Hokage is a serious offense, even during hard times. You don't seem sincere enough to me. Thank you, Fukaku. I will take him into my custody and get with you later. This is a bit bigger than the police of Konoha. He is a Uchiha, so I feel you will take pity and not do what is needed here. Do you intend to defy me? Define the Hokage? No, I don't think so, because you would be in the exact same boat as this man. Let's go.
Okay. I
like
wonder
the
if this is for
ending.
dubbing.
Possibly.
It's yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it to me it does sound like it's meant to be. I guess for like an anime. Yeah.
Yeah,
where, you
that's
know,
what it sounded like.
The Japanese words would be pronounced close enough to the actual word as you would pronounce it in Japanese, but everything else is kind of a standard American accent.
Okay, so I just looked it up. Danzo Shimura is a character from Naruto.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense because she's trying to follow the mouth flaps,
Yeah.
and that's where those breaks are coming into. So you have to be find a way to make that I think a little more natural, because you can tell
Yeah.
where it's all getting chopped up.
Like,
Right. I was gonna say. Right. Yeah. Like, it at first, I honestly thought that he was trying to do almost like a Japanese American, like a Japanese man or woman speaking in English, but still retaining that accent. But yeah, that would make more sense if it was meant for dubbing. I would say in that instance, when it comes to dubbing, at the very least, yeah, you make sure that the words. Even if you have to break them up in a somewhat unnatural way, as you like compared to normal English speaking, still make it kind of follow that same timbre. I noticed like there was a part that said, you know, every damn time, every single time, whatnot, and to me it sounded like little hills, I guess, kind
Yeah.
of like you start like every damn time. Like. If you were to say that as an actual thing, you said every damn time, you know, and you kind of get that like little wave effect in there. So again, just like if anything, if you need the practice, I mean, you can obviously look at other dubs, but just listen back to yourself and try to pick out things that don't sound like normal English speaking, and just try to work on that.
And I would say with dubbing, it's from what Critical Role have stated in their time, it's one of the most difficult pieces of VA to do, because you are having to match the speed of the animation, and not
Yes.
all English words will fit within, you know, the same sort of breadth of animation. So if there is scope if this is you just doing it for fun, I would say, if it doesn't feel like you can say the whole like English translation, perhaps if this is subtitles, don't be afraid to maybe change it. Just change it a little bit to maybe different words that might fit, if this is for fun. If this is to do, if you're doing this with a director, I would say, don't be afraid to go, right, this bit is quite squashed here. Would you say, is there scope to maybe change something, and work with your director and have a conversation there in order to give you more sort of space to make yourself be able to feel more relaxed in the moment. If this is just for fun and this is your first sort of go at it, I would definitely spend just a couple more times. Again, it just feels like he's so tense doing all of this, and if that makes any sense, it just
No, it's
feels
more
like
practice, I think,
very,
on that one. Yeah.
yeah, I think the only thing, literally the only thing that could really polish this off is just giving it a bit more practice, because the voice is there. I will say this now, I don't think I've heard a voice like his on Cold Read so far. So
No, we
I
haven't.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it to pieces. To
It-
I don't know what
I'm putting a picture of him
microphone?
up on the webs, or if you look at the screen I'm sharing, you should be able to see this is the character, and I will link this in chat so everybody can kind of follow. But
his voice matches it matches what he looks like, if anything.
yeah,
That's my
agreed.
thing. I don't know what mic he's using. Personally, I think there needs to be for proper. How do I put this? I'm trying to find the correct words. It's the thing of, it doesn't sound as crisp as it could be, if that makes any sense. It sounds like it could be a USB mic, and we've all started with USB mic.
Yeah.
And so I would say change to a whatchamacallit. I don't even know what it's called.
I'm
XLR,
I'm going with the assumption that this is practice. This is not something that they're submitting, as it all seems to be, or at least at the very last one, it is very when it comes to dubbing, it's generally for practice. So yes, okay. So your next step for sure, if you are interested, you've got a great voice. I love the New York noir accent that you got. If you want to move up, if you want to continue forward, I would say start investing in maybe an XLR mic. Right. If you do the AT2020, that's usually it's a good place to start.
Or that and sound treatment, or room treatment rather. Because as soon as you pick up that XLR mic, you're gonna notice sounds that you weren't hearing before. So room treatment certainly comes along with that. Don't be afraid to get some foam panels for the walls if you need to, just to kind of help with the echo in the background or the reverb. And then if you have even more money than that, build yourself a booth. They're pretty inexpensive these days.
I'm trapped in my box always.
I should start doing this from my booth.
Well, and summer's coming along, so be careful, because it's going to get bad for all of us, I think.
Oh, this thing can't come down. This thing is solidly built here. I will suffer. I've paid for. Well, I didn't even pay. This was a present. I will suffer for my art.
All right. Well, Mitch, thank you so much. Feel free to ask us any questions if you have. Thanks again for dropping your audio and giving us an opportunity to listen. Next up is going to be Megan Hudgens. This is their commercial demo. They consider themselves a voice talent and an audiobook narrator.
At Warby Parker, we like to keep things simple. Well, except for our name, Warby Parker. Anyway, our glasses start at $95 and come standard with prescription lenses. There's a reason every Odyssey is named after the Odyssey. Because the world's most famous story isn't about staying put. It's about being there, taking chances, taking inspiration, taking off. At Delta, we believe in seeing different points of view from a different point of view. Score big with game day savings at your local Aldi. Gordo's Original White Queso Dip, just $3.99. Clancy's Big Dipper Tortilla Chips, buy one, get one free. Aldi, our savings got game. Why do we do it? Why do we push ourselves to the very brink? Why do we put 12-foot skeletons in our yards? Boo! Because fall. Fall hard with Duncan. Pumpkin Pet Insurance plans help you give your fur kids the best care possible with 90% cash back on all covered vet bills, super extensive accident and illness coverage, and best in show service from our pet-obsessed care team.
Okay, that's the end.
Close your eyes
And it's starting
and
over, so give me a
visualize
second.
before you the following mantras.
That seems to be...
That's
all right.
something.
I'm muting the audio.
SoundCloud does that. It's great.
It really does like to just move on, doesn't it?
It just plays the next thing.
Okay.
I
so-
liked it.
Okay.
I'm gonna start the roll going. I liked it.
I think you and I have notes, Dorino, because we're kind of looking into the commercial parts of it. So
I'm here to learn at this point, so because I haven't got my commercial demo, so bring it, guys.
Here's what I do
I'm
learn.
learned.
No,
Okay.
by all means. I mean, from your point of view, this would be great. But here's what I think. Your voice is forward. That's great. That's the perfect way of doing it. The video. I'm sorry. The music is nice and subtle in the background. It's adding flavor. I liked all of that. So that's my positive so far. Renara?
No, again,
Oh, it's down here now.
I liked it. Again, I think because I come from such a character background, I'm listening to the fact of her voice sounds so samey in pretty much I don't like she's definitely done softer, more energetic, softer. She's definitely within the structure of her demo tried to have one dynamic off the other. But the thing is, both the soft ones sound the voice to me didn't change as much. The context changed, but the actual voice itself, I didn't feel there was that much change. And I think there could have been, especially with, oh god, which one was it? There was it was the middle one that was sort of slightly energetic. I feel there could be a definite
The
increase
Duncan
in
one, I
their
think.
dynamic range. Yeah, that dynamic, because it was funny. I laughed. So
Yeah.
I think there is scope within this for her to push her dynamic range in like her top levels and bottom levels just a bit further, because her voice is great. I love it. It has me listening, but it does feel like it's quite safe, if that makes sense, or it's quite it follows sort of the middling range quite a lot, which is fine if that's. But again, I don't have a commercial demo, so I'm learning here.
Right.
So
Sure.
at the minute, I could definitely see if I was to do a commercial demo, mine would sound probably in a similar way. But now I'm listening to it, I'm like, okay, maybe I should have some more dynamic range, or don't be afraid to really sort of have that excited yell in there somewhere, or to have that sort of really calm part, to have those spikes to, especially with today's youth and their short attention spans. But yes, that's my small ramble. I don't know if it's a full ramble yet.
Yeah, we'll leave that one out this time. So.
We haven't got to the
That
sort
was
of
more of a
passionate ramble
rant
yet.
than a
Yeah,
ramble.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, what to say? Okay, so first off, this reel was very well put together.
Yeah.
I loved how it was literally just boom, 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 boom. Like not it wasn't, there was no separation. Music flowed together. So if you did your reel yourself, fantastic job. Like A+ there.
Yeah,
Somebody
like-
else did it, you hired the right person. I will say that I agree with Renara. I think that your dynamic range could use a bit of work in that it does err on the side of almost being monotone. Like you can certainly hear inflections on different words. You can definitely tell that as you speak, your voice goes up and then it goes down. You know, however, it's very limited. And if you're not watching, I'm putting my fingers in a small box. It's yeah. I think at least for the excited bits, I think just based on what you've provided here, you could really kind of amp it up. Give yourself more energy. Smiling during line delivery is so important. It's so much more important than you may realize. I noticed specifically with the Delta Airlines one, that one it was meant to be kind of dreamy or aloof. It makes you relax. However, it how do I put this?
I'm not the only one.
No, I lost my train of thought. I was trying to think of the correct word to use here. It sounded a bit like what I noticed in certain like higher syllables, or rather higher tone syllables, you almost add like a rasp in there. And that could just be your normal speaking voice. I'm not entirely certain. However, if that is not, that's something you might want to work on, especially when it comes to commercial, because I mean, yes, it gives your voice more of a flavor, or something to
More
kind of separate
character.
from the crowd. Yeah, but I mean, commercial is really about clear, concise information. If I don't know how to put it, because I'm not
No, you're
exactly
fine. You're fine.
in the right way to speak, but yeah, I think overall it was very well put together. I would certainly like to see more range demonstrated, however.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I feel like I might have. I had a moment when the Delta airline, because you remind me, at the moment when the Delta airline one came up, I was like, did she actually do something for an airline? Because I swear I've heard that ad somewhere. I was like, huh.
And that's a great question because, I mean, from what I've read and what I've looked at, and I know when we're looking at mine, I've decided to move away from brands, from known brands, because that is sometimes frowned upon. So if these aren't actual commercials, you may want to consider changing just that piece to a more fictional or more generic, Happy Airline or whatever, just so it's not. I mean, I think there could be an issue where it could be construed as like, hey, you've actually done this. Well, like what just happened. So something to consider, I think.
Maybe call them Schmelter or something. I don't know.
Schmelter?
Schmelter?
Schmelter Airlines. I don't know.
I mean, you could, alpha, beta, gamma. No.
Right. It just gives you the idea of what you're
Epsilon.
talking about without specifically saying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Also,
Target.
one last note on that is I also wonder why people put 12-foot tall skeletons in their yard.
I wish.
In my area, I saw at least 7 of them over Halloween, and I was really confused.
Nice.
We can't have those in England because they don't fit with health and safety laws, and it fucking annoys me because I want one.
We're gonna have to talk about that later. I'm curious.
We are.
Okay, so we have next person moving in is Super Laser Eric Brown. I hope I'm saying that right. Let's go ahead.
I am not a child.
This is also a commercial demo.
Okay.
So let's give this a listen.
Whether you're looking to support your mental health or perform like you used to, Hims can help. Through Hims, you can get access to trusted treatments 100% online. Get started today at forhims.com. There's great power in elegance. Plug into a new way of driving. The first ever Genesis GV60. Relive every unbelievable play and thrilling finish from this past season with Game Replays, only on NFL Game Pass for $9.99. Get football on your terms with NFL Game Pass. Hurry in and see why more truck owners are switching to Ram than ever before. Ram, built to serve.
Okay, that's the end of that one.
Help.
Hold on.
I love his voice.
Keep playing something. All right, we're good.
Oh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a great voice.
Mhm.
I could tell when the recording started because I could hear the hiss at the start.
Yes.
There was a breath in there that wasn't necessary. Could have been edited out. Could have used music, in my opinion. I'll leave it because I don't want to take everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. It sounds, or I'm at least assuming that this is something that was self-produced.
Mhm.
Certainly use music. It'll cost you an extra bit of money, but it's just to set the scene. It's so invaluable. Secondly, I know when it comes to submitting audio to or for a job, essentially, you don't normally want to do this, but in the case of a self-produced demo, don't be afraid to EQ your voice. You have a very, I can tell you have a very lower mid voice, resting around there, and you can tell that just based on what we listen to, but you can really enhance that even just a tiny bit, and it will make the world of difference. Your voice will end up sounding buttery smooth, which honestly fits every single commercial that you did. And then I will also say, try to steer away from using actual brand names. To me, this seems like this is just simply a practice demo and that you may not be using it. But it's generally frowned upon when you submit a demo to somebody using real brand names, simply because it's misleading to whoever you're sending this to, because they can immediately think, oh, they did a commercial for
Coca-Cola,
Dodge or Coca-Cola or Delta Airlines. Don't give anybody that impression unless obviously you actually have done commercials for them.
And it could damage the in perpetuity thing if they think that you've gone for one brand when in actual fact you may not have. So then, the whole thing with Pepsi and Coke.
Yeah.
Once you put yourself in
Yes.
one band camp, then the other one doesn't want you, sort of thing. So it just to add to that. But no, I liked. The thing is, from a director's standpoint, and again, I am doing this from the director's standpoint. Yes, I see why he's not put music, because without the music, we can hear more so the slight different variations within cadence and not necessarily vocal texture, but definitely vocal bounce, in the sense of you can hear when he goes from smooth to more energetic, and I think we get to see a lot a much more defined cut between each one, because I think it was like the second one into the third one, it went from smooth to try this today, like that sort of
Like emphatic.
pattern that we know in some like quite corporate things, but also mirrored against something that's slightly softer. And I think we saw more energy ranges in this one. However, I feel if he does then start to put music, which I think he definitely should, we're going to lose some of that nuance, because I think he could push this just a little bit more, because I feel like as soon as he starts to add music, we're going to lose some of that nuance in there, because I think he's almost there, but it's just it does need the music just to give that context. But if he's going to do it, if he is going to add the music, he needs to properly listen through it to make sure that those defining the bits that define each section aren't lost. It may mean restructuring it slightly, putting maybe one slightly more energetic one further up or down or whatever, but I think once you start to add more elements to it, I think it might need a bit of tweaking every now and then. I think also, yes, the EQing might actually help with that in regards to that. But overall, I think I really liked it. I think he's definitely got along a good starting point with this. Even if this is self-produced, it's really good. I like it. I just think there might be a couple more challenges that once he adds the music in, to make sure we don't lose some of those little nuances, which if they are lost, he needs to amp it up to 11, because if you feel you're overdoing it, you're not, to put it bluntly, because you've only got your voice, and sometimes, and I've had notes back where I think I've overdone it, or I've done loads, and they've gone, sounds really samey, or actor sounds bored. I'm there going, but I wasn't bored, because I was doing all this in the booth. But if it doesn't translate through the voice, then that's a whole nother story. But I've said my piece. I'm really trying not to ramble this season.
Too late.
It's just very difficult. No, I will. Ah!
We even talked about it in chat.
We had a formal agreement.
Yeah.
Push the button.
It was a button on this one. I like what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. And by the way, when you said do this, for those of us, or for those listeners that are listening on a podcast, Renara was being very energetic, moving around, moving her hands around.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. And I'm not going to cut you off with the button, but you will get the button from time to time.
Okay.
I think the I like the reasoning for the music is because no commercial is really going to go just voice. It's always going to have something in the background, so that you have to be able to show how your voice is reflected with some stuff going on. So this is why I like stuff that's a little more active. But yeah, okay, very cool. Thank you, Renara. Thank you, everybody.
I will say just one final note on that. And this is more like a technique thing. But I believe it was the Dodge Ram commercial. It sounded more like it sounded like you were trying to do a deeper voice, which is great. However, to me, it sounded like you were more trying to lower your jaw in order to get that lower tone of voice, kind of speaking like this, as opposed to pushing your voice into the back of your throat and really flexing the muscles in your neck. Because when you start talking like that, then you get the full tone of your voice, as opposed to making it sound more hollow, which is what happens when you lower your jaw. So I would recommend, if you're trying to achieve a deeper voice, yeah, just really push it into the back of your throat as opposed to kind of like pushing it underneath your tongue.
Make sense? Okay, the final one that we have is from Aegis Cafe. Say it
I
again.
believe it's pronounced Aegis. Because
Eh.
if it's...
Bienvenidos, señoras y señores. Yo también soy
no
mexicano,
sé.
entonces para mí sería un poquito diferente. Okay, so I hope I can play
All
this
of our Spanish listeners, lo siento.
one.
I don't speak Spanish.
Alright. Let's see if I can get this one going. Here we go.
When you think of McDonald's, what comes to mind? Our juicy beef patties? Our warm and crispy fries? Oh, what about our large drinks for only $1? Those are all good answers. But the best answer? All of the above. From international releases to the classics that you grew up with, Fathom Events is bringing special experiences to the big screen. And for a limited time, when you attend a Fathom Event showtime, you can get 30% off selected snacks. Love, it's such a magical thing. And just like magic, sometimes it can't be explained, but it can be expressed. Capture the magic and give a gift that'll last a lifetime at K Jewelers.
Okay.
I felt those.
Sure. Sweet.
I felt those. Sorry, can I
Yeah,
can
please.
I spew?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm
Spew.
talking about. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about when there needs to be more energy. Like for the last one, he sighed into it. He led us into the feeling of each ad. I think the middle one definitely. I think he could punch that. The cinema one, you could really punch the excitement in that one. But we could hear the excitement. And the first one, we heard him. I could hear him smiling as well in the way he spoke. And I know it's just a commercial thing, but I feel excited for some of these things, especially I actually have that sort of he sounds excited about the product and the things, so I'm feeling excited about it. And there's just a thing of it. He's relaxed into it. He's just like, and he asked questions, like, or I think was it question when he was like listing off the different bits about it within the fast food thing, and that's a structure that a lot of fast food chains have used, and we could all, at the very least, with each one of those, I know for a fact I can think of a brand that uses a similar structure. I mean, I immediately thought of different, like the different ads through hearing his voice. Also, he sounds a little bit like Ravenmane. Bit weird. But I really liked those. I feel hungry after the first one. I definitely think the second one, because it's to do with, it felt like it was to do with the cinema or to do with like entertainment in some fashion. I really think the only thing to improve upon that one is just push that excitement level up just another couple of notches. But I like these ones. I like these ones because I feel good after listening and I feel engaged by it. And I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay.
All right.
I liked them. I like the voice. The voice is awesome. I thought the McDonald's one, the music was a little too high. Wasn't showing off the voice as much. It is very stereotypical for the McDonald's thing, but keep in mind that you're showcasing your voice. You're not showcasing the brand when it comes to the commercial demo. So, other than that, I think I love that it went from, super excited to super serious to like nice and dreamy. So I thought the flow was very, very well done. It's a good range.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I don't really have anything to critique as far as the performance goes. I thought each voice fit what it was trying to sell you. So good job on that. Super great. I know this is really just kind of samples, not a full reel, but you're definitely headed in the right direction. I would say in regards to like the technical aspect, if you're trying to build your own demo reel or produce it yourself, to me, you took the samples and then you just kind of place them right next to each other in your DAW. Don't be afraid to kind of mush those together. And by that, I mean, right before you end your last word of the sentence before transitioning on to a new line, dip the music right there and then have the next music to kind of lead into your next commercial. That's just simply a technical observation that will make it flow a lot better. But again, this is only if you're self-producing. So if you're not self-producing, don't worry about that. Otherwise, I thought you did really good.
Okay. Well, that's all that we have for today on that part.
How did we go through all of that so quickly?
That was awesome! Like, ba-da-da-da! That's awesome. Sorry.
We're
I
at
don't care.
53 minutes, so it's not as
You know
fast
what?
as you think.
We have a little bit more time. Let's review that one too.
God damn it.
Ooh. Oh.
All right. Stand by while I try to get this up and running right.
I mean, it's just
Born
a
of-
YouTube link, yeah. So
Well, I just didn't know if a commercial was going to pop up or what, so that's generally why I try to... Okay, so, I'm trying to see who this is from.
I can't read shit from here.
Eldurrino, Eldetepro.
Okay. All right. This is 2 minutes and 16 seconds, so here we go. Sorry, my echo is going off.
Born of magic and forged from fire. The first Siljan symbol rang out 400 years ago. Its power, beauty, and clarity has sustained every second of every day since that first strike. These symbols have surrounded the heartbeat of every musical genre across 4 centuries.
Well, I started as a kid. When I was 14, I learned the secret.
So what is the secret?
I forgot.
Siljan symbols live in the hearts, souls, and imaginations of music lovers across the world. We are the symbol makers. We are the creators of sound and magic. We are Siljan.
And wait until you hear what we do next.
So that seemed to have been an actual commercial, right?
Yes, yeah. The poster said that this is their first VO gig. They were looking for feedback and then simply asked, "Could I pursue professional talking?"
That's their first. What?
That's their first run in.
What?
I think
Oh my
Renara's
God.
mind just got blown.
My mind's blown. No, I was taken on a journey. I was that voice with this, like it felt like a goddamn movie trailer, and I'm here for that. It was just the tone of what he of how he read all of that matches the sort of zenness, if that's even a word, of ironically enough the brand, but then juxtaposed with what they're used for. I, as a director, am having a wonderful time over here, so don't mind me. I have nothing really negative to say.
Not at all.
On this at all.
Mm-mm.
I think if he wants to do this, he should bloody well be doing this. He can make money from this.
I mean, if this is your
Please-
first excursion
please do
in,
this.
hey, how the hell did you come up with this opportunity?
Who is your agent, and can we?
I don't think there is an agent. It's just I guess.
I'm
Yeah.
dead. I died.
I mean,
I'm
like,
gone.
if he's saying this is his first foray and should I just actually do this? The answer is
Yes.
yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have
Oh.
simply gotten it from, like voices.com or something like that.
Possibly.
A similar
Absolutely.
pay-to-play site.
True enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like the pacing of everything was fairly solid, not too quick, not too slow. Still feel like there could have been a little bit more of the, like, I would have balanced your voice a little bit better or EQ'd it a little bit differently. It is evident that you have kind of that more like mid to upper mid as your normal speaking tone. However, it seemed like they kind of pushed the highs in your voice, which is good because it brings presence to your voice. It makes it stick out from the rest of the backing music. But I don't know, just giving it a little bit more of the like mid to lower mid in your voice, I feel like would have given it a bit more impact. Like when I think epic storytelling, I think, like Gandalf in a sense, but more in a dramatic way, like almost like a movie theater coming this fall, something very impactful. So obviously that's not on you.
Exactly.
I'm assuming you probably didn't mix this yourself, but
Right.
yeah, I mean that's
It's
all I
funny
gotta
because that
say.
was going to be one of the things I was going to say to you is like, well, I mean, when it comes to that stuff, that the voice actor for the most part has no control.
Right.
Yeah. So that's
Right.
just more of a production note than anything else. I think the performance was great. I think it fit the tone. I even ended up putting up the video for those of us that were watching, so they could see it. And I'll make sure to link this one since it's a commercial, so everybody gets it. So I honestly, like I said, if this is your first jump in, yeah, dude, by all means, do it.
Yeah, agreed.
Please do.
What's that?
I was just saying, 1000%, please do. This voice needs to be known, and this voice needs to be in the world. Please
No,
don't
we're
let
not gonna do
people bash you down and feel like you can't do it. Please do this.
Yeah, no, by all means. I mean, 100%. It's one that you know, like I said, if it's your first one in, I'm surprised. Normally, you don't have the audio equipment to be able to pull off something like that. So, very cool. Let me see if I got the right one this time.
I wonder if now this is just me completely hypothetically here. It's an ad for a
symbol.
musical instrument. I wonder if he actually has music set up, perhaps. I don't know.
No idea. He could have.
I'm wondering here. It'd be kind of cool if it was like his first gig was a music thing, and he had like audio set up for music and stuff, and it's just I don't know. Call me wanting to believe in fate or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, it's also entirely possible that he was involved with Zul'jin in some
enough.
way. And
Yeah.
Did the stream die?
No. Yes.
You can hear
No?
audio, just video's not going through, but that's fine.
Weird, because I'm looking at the recording. Everything's going through fine. Okay. Well, with all of that said and done, thank you so much for today. I appreciate everybody who hung around. Thanks for those that were chatting. Ashley, again, thank you for the sub. Video's going again. Okay, I think I might have an idea of what happens. I apologize. I shouldn't be looking stuff up on this computer for some reason. I was. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I was waiting for. There it is. I was waiting for it.
I'll get you a sample of that.
Yes,
eventually.
please. I'll have something else to add on. But yeah, feel free to give us your audio. You just basically heard a whole process that we did. We'd love to do more episodes like this. So you can email it to us, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. You could drop it in our Discord. It'd be more than that because that's how we got Mitch. So don't be afraid.
Come to our Discord.
Yes, come on in, join. We not only do that stuff, we do video games, we do everything else. Orange. The ad was full of symbolism. Oh my god.
Oh,
I need to stop reading chat as I'm leaving.
Yes.
If you, like I said, if you have an opportunity, come on in, drop by. We do these recordings at noon Pacific on twitch.tv/Zamoody. We would love to have you in the chat as we're talking, so come on in. And we'll go from there. What do we have planned for the next step? I know we've got some stuff coming up. So
next week we are interviewing Xander Wolf, who actually runs or is part of a couple of voice acting training classes. Ooh. And he also goes to, I think he does something in regards to that at conventions. So that should be a very interesting talk.
Absolutely.
Getting to...
And they actually voiced Lord Bovus in the last Legend of Coldread thing, which hasn't been up yet. So that'll be fun.
Oh, spoiler.
No, it happened last season. It's already out there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they definitely did that.
mentioned that to me. I will also say real quick too, before we get to our last words, if you are listening and you are yourself a voice actor, please let us know. We would love to talk to you. If you want to be on the show and just hang out with us for an hour, you can reach out to us at the email coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. Also, feel free to look up at our Twitter, which is now Cold Read Council. And we will be more than happy to accommodate and see if we can get you on the show.
Also, if you happen to see any of our shorts or any of our tweets, please feel free to share and retweet and answer. We're trying to have more of a social presence.
Spread it like
there
the plague.
Yeah.
Spread it like the plague.
So we
What I told
appreciate
these
everybody.
two when I put the first one out.
We appreciate it. And then, Renara's handling the shorts, and we'll talk about how those are going next week, hopefully. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, final words from our co-hosts. So go ahead.
Okay. I feel like throughout today, we've gone from a journey of practice to what commercial things can end up being. So I think this is what we've listened to today is basically a really good representation of different parts of a voice actor's journey. And I think one thing really important is no matter where you are on this journey, I'm for my commercial one, I'm definitely at the beginning. But don't feel bad for not being in the point in your journey you want to be, because you will get there. Okay, we are all walking this path, and do not compare yourself to other people. We are all super individual here, but we can all learn from each other no matter where we are on this path. So enjoy it and keep going.
Yeah,
I did my thing.
No, I appreciate it. and you know what? I will add on and say, make sure that even if you've received critique today, understand that it is for you to improve. It is not a personal thing. Please.
We love all of you.
Yes. Please process it as something to help you move forward, not as a negative.
Yes. And my last bit of advice is put your stuff out there, whether it be your demo reels, your samples, your music, whatever the case may be, put it out there. That's the only way you're ever going to really learn. You can't just keep it inside a little bubble like we all tend to do from time to time. So if you got stuff, send it to us. Send it to your friends, your family, complete strangers, whatever the case may be.
We'll catch you next time, all. Thank you so much.
Bye. Drink water.
There it is.
Yay!